Senate Judiciary will be in order. Secretary will take the roll.
This is the roll call for Senate Judiciary, January 24th, 2017. Chairman Regier.
Here.
Vice Chair Fielder.
Here.
Vice Chair Sands. Senator Heinbaugh. Here. Senator Hinkle. Here. Senator Vincent.
Here.
Senator Swandel. Senator Moe. Here. Senator McDonald. Here. Senator Gross.
Here.
President Sales. Thank you.
Thank you. If you're here in the audience today, please turn the sound off on your cell phone so it doesn't disrupt us. If you're going to testify on the bills, there is a sign-up sheet in the entryway to the chamber. Please write legibly. And when you do testify, state your name and spell your last name for us.
Okay, members, ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear Senate Bill 97 by Senator Keith Regier. This will open the hearing. Senator Regier, please open on your bill.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fielder, members of the committee. I am Keith Regier, that's R-E-G-I-E-R, Senator from Senate District 3, that's the North Flathead Valley area from Kalispell to Whitefish. Senate Bill 97 simply prohibits the application of a foreign law when it would violate rights guaranteed by the Montana or United States Constitution. Senate Bill 97 is needed for several reasons. The Montana legislature sets public policy. It is important that the legislature articulates clearly what public policy actually is. Senate Bill 97 will safeguard fundamental state public policies and constitutional rights for its citizens over respect for a foreign law or other choice of law. It will protect fundamental state and federal constitutional liberties, including but not limited to due process, freedom of religion, speech or press, and any right of privacy as defined by our state constitution. Senate Bill 97 sets fundamental constitutional liberties as protected interests. There are cases where foreign doctrines were invoked by parties in dispute in American courts. A husband married in India and living in the U.S. for 10 years with children born in the U.S. and 10 years of acquired wealth wanted to divorce using India law. Parents asking the courts to enforce child custody laws that were set by the country they immigrated from but contradict U.S. laws. And courts asked to recognize professional licenses issued by a foreign government. Senate Bill 97 does not apply to an entity that willfully enters a contract that subjects itself to foreign law in a jurisdiction other than this state or the United States. And this bill is not unique. Alabama, Arizona, Kansas, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Dakota, and Tennessee have all passed laws that prohibit the application of foreign laws in their courts. Again, Senate Bill 97 reaffirms that the rights guaranteed in the Montana and U.S. constitutions cannot be infringed by any foreign law. This country has many immigrants. They come from many different societal structures. They may be ruled by tribal tradition, a sovereign government, or a religion. For these immigrants to retain their diverse rule of law would create a society in chaos. Our country's motto is E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. One country with one set of laws to be followed. Senate Bill 97 affirms that laws protecting our Montana and United States constitutional rights will be the standard followed in our courts. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Senator Regier.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Judicial Committee for the opportunity. I am an immigrant and I lived under the Sharia law. I was born and raised in Iran under the Sharia law that completely contradicts the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And we fled the country, our homeland, and the place of birth that we lived in. We came to America to find freedom, freedom of speech, expression, being able to go to the church, or whatever religion that we practice. But recently, or in past few decades, there have been active try by the foreign countries to establish foreign laws in America. And they come in the name of religion, because otherwise they will not get their way. So they come in the name of religion to establish certain laws for certain communities to live by those laws. For example, under the Sharia law, if a woman commits adultery, the punishment for that woman is stoning. So that woman must be stoned to death because she committed adultery. Or if, for instance, somebody converts from a religion or from Islam or from the Sharia law to another faith, he is punishable by death. Apostasy is punishable by death. So these laws are completely contradictory to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'm going to read for you just a few of the Sharia laws that contradict the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Sharia law are a major threat to our Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. There are a few of such oppressive laws that I'm going to mention. According to the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness bestowed upon us by our Creator. But Sharia law denies this truth and deprives people of the basic of human rights. Things like death of apostates, according to Sharia law. Men have the right to marry up to 4 wives. A woman's testimony is half of a man, because according to Sharia law, a woman's intellect is half of a man. A woman receives half inheritance as a man. If you have converted to any other religion, you don't have any right. Inheritance, you don't have any inheritance, and are worthy of death. Beating of a wife is allowed according to Sharia law. Homosexuals are hated and punished by death. People of other religion are seen as unclean, unholy, pagan, and infidels. Sharia law prescribes death for unbelievers. And this is a law of the Sharia law that people have been trying to establish it in the name of religion and democracy and freedom of speech. But a freedom that contradicts the Constitution, I don't think it should be allowed in a country that has provided such a democracy and diversity in the country, that people from all kinds of different countries and backgrounds and cultures can come here and live in freedom. We don't want to have laws that overrides the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. For instance, if you have a community filled with people who are ruled by the Sharia law, they will be punished by the Sharia law, and you will not know about it. They will stone women in their own privacy. They will amputate hands, because if somebody steals something, he's punished by amputated by his hand. When I was in Iran, I was 16 years old. We were going to a wedding, and on the way to the wedding, the government, the Sharia law police has checkpoints. They stop the cars, they pull them over, and they confiscate the car, and they want to check the car out, the people out. And we were going to this wedding, and 2 of my friends had some alcohol, a little bit, not much. I didn't have any alcohol. And I was 16 years old, we're going to this wedding, and then the checkpoint pulled us over, and they pulled us out of the car. And the moment they smelled the alcohol, they took us all into a confinement, and they took all our clothes off, naked, bare naked, poured cold water on us, and they started beating us. Before even they took us to a court, before even they allow us to defend ourselves, they start beating us to death. And I was in prison for almost for 5 days, and then we went to the court. My family had to bribe them in order for them to let us go. So this is the foreign law that wants to be practiced in America, and they come in the name of freedom, that we have the freedom to practice our religion, but it's not a religion. It's a foreign law that is completely in contradiction to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So I ask the committee to please consider this Bill SB 97 and support it, because it's good for all of us. Everybody is free in America to practice whatever they want to, whatever religion they want to, as long as what they believe and what they practice is not against the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. So I ask you to support that. We came to this country to find freedom. We don't want the same laws to come here and to threaten us, because I'm an apostate. I converted from Islam. So I'm punishable by death. I've received threats on a weekly basis. People threaten my life. Iranian government has been writing about me that I'm a Zionist, I'm a CIA agent, and I'm spying for America and for Israel and so forth. So they find ways to condemn you and to punish you. And that's why we have the refugee crisis, because these refugees are running away from the same laws that they're trying to establish here.
Madam Chair, could I call up Ms. Rossi, please?
Madam Chair, Senator Hinkle.
Ms. Rossi, I'm really having a hard time trying to convince myself that you actually stood up here as an opponent of this bill. Considering these human rights violations that we see with other foreign laws, simply what this bill does is just prohibit or restates the prohibition of foreign laws to be practiced in our courts. And considering that, you know, Sharia law is a major concern, and there has been some pushes for that. You know, I was here for the march this Saturday, the Women's Rights March and the Human Rights March, and I remember specifically from you a rah-rah speech for that, promoting human rights. And it was also stated here by Montana Human Rights Network that this bill was and has been in other states intended to take on Sharia law. Now, even if that is the case, I'm not understanding why you would be opposing this, considering that killing women because they're in adultery and killing homosexuals because they're homosexuals and other human rights violations like this, why would you be opposed to that? Would you be willing to change your mind and become a proponent if this bill really is intended to take on Sharia law?
So it seems like there's multiple parts to your question. First of all, I would just like to say I did not say rah-rah during my speech, but I did give one. Thank you for listening. No, I will not be changing to a proponent of this bill. As I stated in my opposition the first time, these bills are not based in a protection for human rights. If we have an interest in protecting human rights, we should add LGBT people to the Montana Human Rights Act. We should do things like that actually advance the rights of the groups we're talking about, instead of putting forward a very vague bill that historically has not been used to protect human rights, but has actually been used in attempts to curtail human rights. As I said, it was an idea that came from trying to stop the legalization of homosexuality. It was a bill that popped up again to allow, that was used as a tool to allow states to kill children with the death penalty and mentally disabled people with the death penalty. This bill is not about human rights. I won't be changing my opposition. It's a wolf in unconvincing sheep's clothing, and it should be voted down by the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Sparsa. I'm kind of trying to look at this as far as how foreign laws may, if they're ever actually injected into our legal system, how it may influence the outcomes based on like a human rights type of a situation. I was just wondering if you could, I tried to write down quickly some of the things that you were talking about, since you have firsthand experience with Sharia law, that may affect women or homosexuals. If you could please restate that, please.
Thank you for the question. Yes, to answer your question the best way, because I lived under the fist of Sharia law, and this morning I was actually talking to my brother from Iran. And he told me, please go and tell them that what we're going through here. And, you know, I was a Muslim. I lived as a Muslim. I was raised as a Muslim. So I have the first-hand experience of what people go through. In fact, the greatest victim of Sharia law are Muslims. Women, you know, look at Afghanistan. Women have to be veiled. They cannot go to a doctor that is male. And according to Sharia law, a man can marry a girl under age 10, 9, 8. And so the threat that the Sharia law poses is that imagine a community here that they want to be ruled by their own laws. What they do, they punish people based upon their own laws, and it becomes a tribe issue, it becomes a community issue. So what happens is that, for example, if somebody within the community commits adultery, then we have something called honor killing under Sharia law. Honor killing is that you kill that person in the honor of defending your values. And that's protected by Sharia law. It's honored if you do that. People uphold you in that community in a high stand because you are willing to kill someone in order to defend your values or Sharia law. So I've seen with my own eyes, people have been beaten. I myself was beaten because of something I didn't do even. But when you implement Sharia law, it's going to cause chaos. That's why we have the refugee crisis, because those people, those Muslims, are running away from the same thing that we're talking about here. And this SB 97 is not in any way, shape, or form to prohibit immigration or to enforce anything on Muslims. We're just trying to say that there is no further law or foreign law trying to be implemented in the United States.
So, Mr. Follow-up, Madam Chair. Mr. Parsa, so you had listed some specific things.
Yes.
That how it affected women and how it affected homosexuals. Can you restate those,
yes,
please?
For example, according to Sharia law, the women have half value of a woman. For example, if you go to the court that is judged based upon the Sharia law, a woman's testimony, we have people testified here, a woman's testimony is half of a man. Okay. And a man has the right under the Sharia law to marry up to 4 wives without the consent of the former wives. Based upon that, for example, if you are a woman, you have half inheritance as a male. And not only that, if you convert from Islam and leave Islam and go to other religion, you're punishable by death. Homosexuals are killed in Muslim countries. I know people that were killed for practicing homosexuality and so forth. In America, we respect the practice of that, although we don't agree, but we don't go and kill people. We don't harass them. We don't threat them. But in Islamic countries, they see that because of the Sharia law, the reign of Sharia law, people are being threatened, tortured. And Iran was the first drafter of the Human Rights Declaration by Cyrus the Great 2,500 years ago. The first Human Rights Declaration in the UN was drafted by Iran, by the ancient Persia. Iran today is the second violator of the human right. So what happened to a nation that was the drafter of the Human Rights Declaration to a nation that now is the second violator of the human right? And we have 5 million refugees, Persian refugees, that are scattered all over the world because they run away from this atrocity that was practiced and imposed on them by Sharia law. And then homosexuals, people who convert to other religions, and those are being punished by Sharia law police. I was arrested myself in Turkey even 4 or 5 times because of practicing my Christian faith. And also, the Quran says that people who convert from Islam, they are punishable by death.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.